Welcome back to ZNGP Today. Ducati Managing Director Gigi Dall'Igna called Sepang an energizing weekend for the factory. A mix of confirmation, frustration, and fresh technical clues. While Alex Márquez's win and Bagnaia's sprint provided big morale boosts, the GP25's narrow setup window and Bagnaia's Sunday bad luck underlined that staying on top still requires relentless attention to detail. Dall'Igna's message was clear: success is continual work, and new riders, like Marquez, can reveal directions the team hadn't seen before. With the 2027 technical overhaul looming, the MotoGP rider market has turned into a chessboard, and VR46's director Uccio Salucci has made his intentions clear. Pedro Acosta is very much on the wishlist. In a season already reshaped by injuries, surprise winners, and shifting priorities, teams are looking for young, adaptable talent to anchor the new era. Uccio's public courting of Acosta underlines how valuable the Murcian has become, and how fierce the recruitment battle for 2027 will be. The final two rounds of the 2025 MotoGP season will see a new face in red. Nicolo Bulega, Ducati's World Superbike star and 2023 World SSP champion, will step up to replace Marc Marquez at the factory Ducati Lenovo team for Portimao and Valencia. For Bulega, it's more than a call-up. It's the realization of a dream that's been years in the making, as Ducati entrusts him with the reigning champion's Desmosedici. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. Sepang reset the garage mood. After some tricky events earlier in the season, Ducati found cause for optimism: strong Saturday form, race wins, and improved team atmosphere. He described the weekend as exciting and said it helped lift the team's morale after difficult rounds. When momentum snaps back, it isn't just points that matter, it's belief in the development path. Dall'Igna praised Alex Márquez's racecraft and the wider success of Team Gresini, noting the rider's victory and runner-up championship spot as a high point for Ducati's ecosystem. Alex's performance was unparalleled. His constant and unsustainable pace gave him a solo victory. Satellite team success feeds the factory, proof that the Desmosedici package still has broad potency. Pecco's Saturday was textbook, Q1 into pole, and a flag-to-flag sprint win. The Grand Prix collapse, however, a puncture that forced retirement while he was fighting at the front, turned a near-perfect weekend into mixed emotions. He welcomed Bagnaia's form but regretted the result being lost to bad luck and a tricky tire call. A dominant one-lap and sprint show Bagnaia's speed. The puncture emphasizes how fragile race plans can be. Technically, Dall'Igna admitted the GP25 is less forgiving than its predecessor. It offers big gains in a tight setup corridor but punishes riders who fall outside that sweet spot. Bagnaia's preferred operating window is narrower, complicating setup work and making targeted fixes harder under restricted test time. The optimal adjustment range is smaller. The range in which Pecco feels comfortable is more limited. That explains why single-lap pace can coexist with race inconsistency, and why engineers are grinding for tiny, transferable gains. Ducati's approach has been cautious, evolve from proven solutions rather than chase radical change. Dall'Igna defended that route, arguing fine-tuning can still yield substantial improvements without gambling the package. He pointed out there weren't huge differences between GP24 and GP25 at launch. The team preferred stable development over risky leaps. It's a conservative play that values reliability and incremental performance gains. Dall'Igna said bringing a rider of Marquez's caliber into the fold can illuminate new setup and development paths, because elite riders reveal machine behaviors engineers might miss. When a rider like Marc Marquez arrives, it can open up new avenues and help you better understand the bigger picture. Top-level feedback can accelerate development, and sometimes that fresh perspective is worth more than any single component. With 2 rounds left, Ducati's targets are pragmatic: find the right baseline and give Bagnaia a reproducible setup. If they do, Dall'Igna believes Pecco will be back at the front. If not, the closing rounds could remain tricky. If we achieve the ideal setup, Pecco will be back at the front. If not, things could get complicated. A concise summary. The bike has the speed. Now it needs consistent, repeatable balance. Dall'Igna's Sepang verdict mixes confidence with realism. Ducati remains the benchmark, but the margin for error is small. The team's cautious development ethos, combined with the fresh insight elite riders bring, gives Ducati a clear route forward. Now it's down to execution in Portimao and Valencia. Find the magic window and turn single-lap brilliance into race-long dominance. The 2027 rule changes: reduced displacement to 850 cubic centimeters, non-adjustable suspension, simplified aero and a new tire supplier, are reshaping team strategies. With only 2 confirmed contracts so far, the rest of the grid is negotiating in an environment of uncertainty where technical unknowns make rider choices riskier and more strategic. When hardware changes dramatically, teams increasingly prioritize riders who can adapt quickly, and that raises the value of proven young talents like Acosta. Uccio didn't mince words. VR46 wants Acosta and says it has an available seat for 2027. He framed the chase realistically. It won't be easy. Other manufacturers, and Ducati or Aprilia, may have offers, but VR46 is prepared to compete for the rider's signature. Of course we want him, but it won't be easy. We have a seat available for him in 2027 and we'll do everything we can to sign him. Public courting is part negotiation, part signaling. Uccio is broadcasting commitment and trying to shape Acosta's market expectations. Pedro Acosta sits high in the standings and has become a frequent podium presence, the sort of rider who blends raw speed with adaptability. Teams see him as a potential linchpin for the 2027 reset, a young star who can grow with a new bike architecture and provide long-term value. In an era where the technical baseline will be unsettled, riders who can interpret changing grip, aero and electronic behaviors quickly are gold. Uccio also framed VR46's transformation. Once primarily an Italian talent factory, the team now acts like any other MotoGP outfit, scouting outside the academy and chasing the best available talent. While the academy remains central, Celestino Vietti and youngsters are in the pipeline. Recruitment is widening as the team prepares for the new competitive landscape. VR46 still values academy graduates, but it recognizes that building a top-tier MotoGP team sometimes requires signing established talent from outside the nursery. The shift is natural. As teams professionalize, talent sourcing becomes global, not just local. With 74 championship points still available across the final rounds, and many seats up for grabs, negotiations will hinge on more than money. Compatibility with a team's technical direction, long-term project vision and the rider's appetite for risk under the new rules will all matter. VR46's early public move is a strategic play, an attempt to get ahead in a market where timing and signaling count for a lot. Expect intense summer/autumn negotiations in 2026. Teams that secure adaptable young stars early will start 2027 with a competitive edge. Uccio's message is both an invitation and a warning. Pedro Acosta is wanted, and the new MotoGP era will reward teams that land the right young talents. VR46 has signaled seriousness by reserving a seat and expanding its recruitment beyond the academy. Whether Acosta ends up in Tavullia, Bologna, Noali or elsewhere, the 2027 market is already shaping up to be the most consequential rider shuffle in years. And every move will matter more because the bikes themselves will change the rules of the game.
Ducati confirmed the promotion after Bulega completed a private test on the 16th GP at Jerez earlier this week. He'll replace Michele Apiro, who had filled in temporarily, to ride alongside Pecco Bagnaia. The timing makes sense. With Marquez sidelined by shoulder injuries from his Mandalika crash with Bezzecchi, Ducati saw a perfect chance to reward one of its brightest talents and gauge his MotoGP readiness under race conditions. Bulega was candid about what the opportunity means, and about the pressure it brings. Making my MotoGP debut is the dream of any kid who wants to become a rider. To do it on the world champion bike is incredible. It'll be a big gamble. I have no expectations, but I'll give my all. It's a fair stance. Bulega's focus will be on learning, not results. He's only tested the Desmosedici once, so his debut is as much a data-gathering exercise for Ducati as it is a reward for his superbike form. Bulega's journey adds a touch of romance to the call-up. Once a VR46 Academy member, he spent 6 seasons in Moto3 and Moto2 before pivoting to World Supersport, where he reinvented his career. His 2023 Supersport title, and back-to-back runner-up finishes in World SBK, have made him one of Italy's most consistent performers. Few riders have gone from Moto2 dropout to factory Ducati debutant. Bulega's rise is a testament to perseverance and the right technical environment. Ducati course boss Gigi Dall'Igna praised Bulega's progression and confirmed his expanded development role for 2026. Niccolò has been part of our family since 2022. We believed in him, and he repaid us with 2 seasons as a protagonist in Superbike. His debut in MotoGP is the best way to start his new role developing the Desmosedici with the new Pirelli tires. The move is strategic. Ducati not only rewards loyalty, but also secures valuable crossover feedback as MotoGP transitions to Pirelli in 2026. Marc Marquez's injury, a right shoulder issue from his Mandalika crash with Bezzecchi, has ruled him out for the rest of the season. Ducati expects him back for February's Sepang pre-season test. The injury is unfortunate, but it opens the door for Ducati to experiment. With Bulega taking the seat, the team gets both a stopgap and a development trial in one move. Niccolò Bulega's debut is a perfect intersection of preparation and opportunity. A dream, realized not through luck, but through relentless progression from Moto2 struggles to Superbike stardom. Ducati's confidence in him, and his dual 2026 role as test and development rider, signals faith in his adaptability. For Portimao and Valencia, the goal isn't victory, it's experience. But in MotoGP's fast-moving world, one good weekend can rewrite a career. Thanks for watching ZNGP Today, and this is your MotoGP news update, and see you next time.